It was the end of 1942. Great Britain and the USA just stopped Africa Corps, a German expeditionary force, from capturing Egypt and the Suez Canal. This meant that the Allies had finally recaptured the whole of North Africa.
The next step was capturing Sicily. The plan was codenamed Operation Husky. If the Allies captured Sicily, they would regain control of the Mediterranean Sea. Invading Sicily would force Germany to pull their land and air forces to defend its southern side. Therefore, the pressure on the USSR would be alleviated. It would not be easy. Sicily was defended by Italian Sixth Army that contained 200,000 men, as well as 2 German divisions.
Before entering the Mediterranean, a convoy of ships sailed by the Gulf of Biscayne to meet with U-boats. On July 4th and 5th, 1943, the flotilla was attacked off the coast of Algeria. 52 Canadian soldiers were reported missing, along with 500 vehicles.
Left Algiers, presumably for patrol this afternoon, our orders came through. The captain passed the word that we were on our way for the invasion of Sicily. We are part of a large armada, 2,500 ships, 500,000 men, and 5,000 airplanes. But of course, this is just estimated. Not confirmed officially. I guess we will play a leading part as we are designed to bombard the beach and, if necessary, go right to within 1,000 yards. After expanding 50% of our ammunition, we are to get the heck out of there, for it will probably be quite the hotspot. The crew is quite calm about the whole thing, but there is a general feeling that we don't have a chance against the shore batteries at such a close range, and if we do survive, our casualties would be heavy. Well, we shall see. There is still a general amount of laughing and joking going on, and the biggest subject now is having meatballs and spaghetti as a steady diet soon. I hope and pray for our ship to come through safely, but it will be a miracle. Word has just passed that all hands are to keep what they may know to themselves in an event we are torpedoed or sunk. Our convoy has formed. We are on our way.
On July 10, 1943, the Allies approached the southern tip of Sicily. First, the 7th U.S. Army captured the Gulf of Gila. Then they marched up along the west coast of the island and cut inward towards Palmerino. Other units crossed the island to reach the northern coast, then to Messina. Simultaneously, the British Army landed the shores of the Gulf of Noto, right in between Pashino and Sicurus. They continued northward to gain control of the inland mountains and liberate Messina.
Canadians fought alongside the British divisions in the 8th Army's order of battle. The 1st Canadian Infantry Division and the 1st Canadian Armoured Brigade had 26,000 soldiers. On D-Day, these Canadian soldiers easily landed on the beaches around the village of Pacino. The Italian soldiers were quick to surrender instead of risking their lives. The 1st Canadian Infantry Division had reached its objective and continued on to the next part of the plan. They marched inland.
At 900 hours on July 15th, a column approaching Grenmichael was attacked by German artillery fire, the tank detachment. The Allies quickly engaged the attack of the enemy, supported by the Canadian Regiment de Trois-Rivières. They were able to drive the Germans back as far as Caltagirone, although it took them until the following morning.
German soldiers were trying to slow down the advance of the Allies as they got closer to the natural border of Mount Etna. It was Canadian soldiers ordered to push as hard as possible towards the city of Etna, the center of the island. As Canadians pursued forward, the resistance was increasing. The enemy used their knowledge of the terrain cleverly. They blew up bridges, forcing Canadians to advance without armored vehicles. There were huge Canadian casualties on this advance, but they learned fast.
As Canadian soldiers went inland, the mountainous terrain became more and more treacherous. The Germans were stationed around Lianfort Osoro. They had a great vantage point on top of the mountain that seemed impossible to get past. The Canadian 1st Infantry Brigade could not get near Osoro without being an easy target for enemy fire. The mountain's other face was so steep it seemed impossible.
But Major Lord Tweedsmuir, commanding officer of the Hastings and Prince Edward Regiment, attempted this challenge wholeheartedly. He sent soldiers to climb Mount Asoro's steep face at sunset. By dawn, Canadians had reached higher ground than the Germans. This surprise to the Germans forced them to withdraw the counterattack. The fighting went on until July 22nd at noon, when Canadians gained control.
Meanwhile, the Allies were engaging the Germans at Leonfort near Asoro. The fighting turned to house combat. The assault was so fast that the German guard post at the city entrance surrendered.
Now that Leonfort and Asoro were under control, the Allies attacked Algeria. The Germans fiercely defended the city. There were huge Canadian casualties, but Germany was also hit hard. In the meantime, the U.S. Army was moving along Canada's left flank.
From there, the Allies captured Catavinero. Rigoberto then continued eastward. Canadian troops marched the beds of the Salso and Trevona rivers. They captured several positions along these riverbeds that the Germans still held.
A few kilometers to the north, the U.S. was fighting Germany. Germany was defeated and started organizing its withdrawal from Sicily for August 17, 1943. Sicily was free. Canadian troops were put in reserves on the east coast to rest. After 38 days, they marched 200 kilometers in exhausting, scorching weather. They fought tirelessly and suffered 2,310 casualties.
Our cartoon for the invasion of Sicily is made out to represent the pace of battles by Canadians. The invasion of Sicily was indeed a series of very slow battles, and by slow I'm referring to the progression of invading Italian soil. Sometimes it would take days for our soldiers to travel only a few miles. The snails are representing only 3 soldiers as a part of the Canadian Army that are advancing to the location of a battle.